Today, I'm going to unbox and take a quick look at Attack on Cahokia. Probably pronouncing that wrong, so I do apologize. This is a game from the Historical Game Company, a strategy game on the attack of Cahokia 1780. Their tagline is easy to learn and play, and I'll put a link to all the other games that I've covered from the Historical Game Company, which is the primary designer and owner is Steve Kling Jr., and a very interesting gentleman who was kind enough to send me some games. I bought some games, he sent me some games, and through Blue Panther, which these are sourced through, and then I bought more games, including this one right here. So if you're keeping tallies, my collection of the Historical Game Company games are growing at an alarming pace here. So 55 Days of Peking, Siege of Khartoum, and they just keep coming on here. So anyway, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about this one. This is, again, a strategy game. Is going to have the similar mechanics to those other games that I've covered so far, which it will have a canvas map, which I really like. It uses cards for movement and combat to move things forward. You have dice for the combat as well. The counters are typical Blue Panther, very thick cut, laser cut type counters. So all those things are going to be consistent with what I've covered in the other games. But this is dealing with this specific battle. As you can see here, here's an example of the counters. And I really like how he uses different silhouettes on the counters for the different time periods in which his games cover, or the combat that covers those areas. Here is May 26, 1780. Spain has entered the American Revolutionary War against Great Britain, and George Rogers Clark has captured the British Illinois country. Orders have been given to sweep the Spanish and Americans from the Mississippi River Valley, including an attack on Cahokia. The town is defended by a mix of Americans, local French militia, and Cahokia warriors, which has been fortified against the expected British attack. The stage is set. So, and there's an example of the map there, and then you get an example of the cards. But why look at examples when we can get inside the box and see what they look like up close? So I've been really impressed with these games. They're really not overly complex. The rules are 4 pages on, I think all the rules are about 4 pages, and they're not even 4 full pages because there's usually a terrain chart in the rules themselves. So these are definitely somewhat introductory type war games, but they're not just simple exercises in that there's a lot of decisions here. They do give you a feel for the conflict, the specific conflict that they cover. And, I like the components, especially the canvas maps. For some reason, I just really like those. So typical Blue Panther box here. As you can see, the counters are already popping off the counter sheet there. But you can see they're nice, thick cut, typical Blue Panther counters. You see there, and they're double-sided there. And these are the ones that came out. You can look there, get a real up-close and personal look at them. And we have the cards here. There'll be British cards, and I imagine there will be, let's see what the American cards. There we go. This is just a print holder, spacer, or something like that. So here's the British cards. You have, dealing with move. It tells you how many units can move, attack, and any kind of special rules. So cards are very important to the gameplay. And then here's the American cards. And you're going to have the same image for all the American. You're going to have this in a different image, but same for all the British cards. So there's the 2 decks there. A die. Here are the rules. As I said, they're not overly complex. They are 4 pages, and again, most of the back page is the terrain chart, and then you have background and design information. So really it's 3 pages of rules. Dual column. Here is an explanation of the counters. You got your attack factor, defense factor, movement factor, then a range factor up there. The type of unit, again, they have different silhouettes for that. And then the defense factor on the back. All the games that I've covered so far use the same system, which has a draw cards phase, movement phase, defensive fire phase, combat phase, and rally disordered unit phase. Okay. And there's an example of the cards, and then it goes into each of the phases. Drawing cards, movement, defensive fire, combat, line of sight, and the like. Then there's your victory conditions, special rules, and then again that terrain chart that is on there. So there we go. So let's get to my favorite part of these games, and that is the canvas map here. So very nice print on the front, but as you can see from the texture here, if you can catch that, it's a canvas map. I think they look really nice. Let's get a little closer here so you can see some of the stuff here. There's the old fort. There's mission property, Fort Bowman, church. And then you have holding boxes for American eliminated units, for British eliminated units, and then your turn track. So again, all these games use somewhat, at least the ones that I've covered so far, have used somewhat of the same system, and they are all, pretty easy to get into. Some of the cards here. I really do like the system and how they lay everything out, and like to know your thoughts on it. Have you played any of these, and what do you think about them? Do you like them? Do you think they do a good job of recreating the different battles? And that's the other thing that I really do like about these games is they're covering some battles that probably have never had a coverage before. I've never heard of this attack on Cahokia. In fact, the designer and owner of a historical game company, I think, is a co-author on a book that talks about the attack on St. Louis and the attack on Cahokia. I've been having a hard time trying to track down that book. It's such a rare item, but you can learn more about that in the book that's out there. Just look up Steve Kling, and you'll be able to find it. But also you learn from these games, and that's what I like about these games is I'm learning about new battles and new encounters and some new history that I didn't know about, and it also spurs me to forward to go learn more about this conflict and surrounding conflicts. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Again, love to know your thoughts on any of these games, but more specifically this one or this system. Feel free to drop me a comment and just keep it simple. And hey, have a good one. Thanks for watching.